Well, welcome back. It's Wednesday. Not that it really matters what day of the week it is, considering that this video will be posted whenever you need. Today, however, in terms of our trigonometry unit, before we move into actually playing with different things, it's setting up the ratios. Okay. Now, the ratios and formulas relate to which specific function we're going to be using to figure out the other angles within a right angle triangle. There's three ratios. Okay. One ratio deals with tangent, which is tan. Okay. So that's kind of written as the tan of an angle, we'll call the angle this, equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. Okay. That's the first one. The second ratio that we could possibly use is sine, which is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And finally, the third and last one is actually using cosine, and it's equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Now, this one, they all are determined by where the angle we need is actually situated. So for example, if the angle is here, okay, we know that working with tangent, this becomes the opposite from our previous video, and this becomes the adjacent. If we're working with sine of this, okay, this is still the opposite side. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. So this, where the angle we're looking for, determines where the situation of the opposite and the adjacent sides are. The hypotenuse never changes. The hypotenuse is always the longest side of the triangle. Now, taking a look at how we would kind of situate and put the numbers in there, that's a little bit different. Okay, so any questions in relation to that? No? Okay. So remembering that this is the hypotenuse, let's first work with the tangent. Okay, we're going to leave the angle where it is. So for example, if the angle is still here and we want the opposite and adjacent to figure out the value, let's say for example, for this example, these are the numbers that are given on the triangle. How to set this up for using tangent, okay, is that the tan, or the tangent of theta, is going to equal the opposite side. So this is opposite, this is adjacent, this is hypotenuse. You need to put the opposite side over the adjacent side. And then we'll go through in one of the other videos as to what to do to kind of calculate from there to get the degrees or the angle that is. Now, if you take a look at the formula for sine, all right, now remember the formula for sine was that sine equals, or the sine of theta equals the opposite over the hypotenuse, okay? Quite simply, that just means that the sine of theta will be calculated by taking the opposite side and dividing it by the hypotenuse. Okay? And then lastly, the final one is cosine. The formula for cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and that means that the cosine of theta is going to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, that's pretty much how to set up the formula before we go into the next steps. Okay, I will make sure that each individual one, the tangent, the sine, and the cosine, there's an individual video.